podium. I'm trying to imagine myself on a imaginary podium, like I'm
Yes, please
standing
do that.
somewhere. Right. Good evening, everybody. It's good to be here. Um, Super excited. I'm always excited. I don't know, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I think today has been a good day, and really happy to be here to share this conversation. So, I'm sure. Okay, I think I know. Don't let me say I know. Um, I heard everybody's thoughts, and I think let me give a backstory to why we are having this session. Um, on Tuesday, I was on an interview. Right on Tuesday, I was on an interview panel, and it was it was weird to see how people were approaching interviews, right? But this was not the first time. Sometimes, maybe in today's this is August. Sometimes in July, I was also on an interview panel for a company, and the way I saw people approaching interviews was very funny. And so it just struck in my head that it's possible that some people don't know that some of these things are wrong, right? Because of how they approach the interview. It was not even about what they say, right? It was more about composure during interviews. So that July, the thing just struck in my head and said, okay, this is where people are approaching interview. I think it's not so cool at all. And I doubt they are going to get that job because even me, I'm not going to approve for the organization, even though I don't work for the company. I was just invited as a resource person, right, to be part of the interview. And I saw that I said, nah, this is not going to work, right? Even me, I'm not going to give the person the go ahead to be hired, right? But this Tuesday, this week, it was shocking, right? Um, Let me give the backstory. The person, not even one person, about three people that came for that interview. One person, they asked the person to turn on their video. The person was walking up and down with their camera. The person was not seated on the seat. And the other person had so much background noise. And then the other person was dropping off and dropping in and dropping off and dropping in. And they were not saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Are you serious? And so this Tuesday just struck me that no, we have to talk about navigating interviews because it's possible that some of you here are probably also making that same mistake and you're expecting people to understand. So, what we are going to do with this entire navigating the PM interview successfully is not going to be a one-off session. It's going to be like the next 3 to 4 weeks, right? Every Saturday, we're going to be talking about this because for some of you, it's not because you don't know what you know. Some of you know this skill set. Some of you have at least theoretical knowledge about these things, about how to work as a product manager. You know some things. And some of you even know a lot of things. But your composure is for some of you potentially because when I was in that interview, these multiple different things, and I said, Omo, it was shocking. Let me just use that word, right? So it's gonna be a series, and I'm not gonna be doing it alone. Um, yes, on what's today? Today is Saturday. Today's Saturday, right? Yesterday morning, I was on a conversation with an international recruiter that is based in Europe, in Germany, and I already highlighted he's a Nigerian, but he recruits a lot of Nigerian talent to Europe, right? Typically, people in tech, product managers, product designers, UI UX designers, software developers. So we're trying to sort of work a partnership with him and with Enoverlab, where he's going to be recruiting talents from Enoverlab to startups and organizations in Europe. But however, it's not just about connecting people to these jobs. It's about even people that are going into the jobs being composed and being being able to put their best foot forward in these interview processes. Because even though we'll connect you to the job and all of that, what if you cannot even navigate the interview? Are we going to come and sit there in front of the interview for you? No, we're not going to come and sit there in front of the interview for you. So at the end of the day, even if we connect you to a job, you have to go through the interview yourself. You're not going to call Banjina or Theodora or Blessing to come and sit down interview for you. You have to go through the job yourself. So I won't be doing it alone, right? I'm going to be having this international recruiter. Is going to be on one of these sessions over the next 3 to 4 Saturdays, and he's going to talk from his own personal experience of being a recruiter hiring Nigerians to Europe in particular, right? And also even hiring Nigerians, majorly that's his own particular base, right? And some of the things that he has seen based out of how people compose themselves. Most of these things is not even about what you know about product management. It really comes down to as simple things like composure, right? So I won't be talking about this is how you should prepare for interview. This is what you need to read. This is go and read what's that book again? Cracking the PM interview. I won't be telling you those things. I'm sure some of you already know these things. And I think somebody said it when Blessing was asking a question earlier about, oh, let me come and see if there is something new that I want to learn, right? So I'm not going to talk about the basic things that you probably already know, right? I'm not going to talk about the basic things that you probably already know. How do you sit down with interviews? What do you say? Maybe I'll touch points on them, but that's not going to be the bulk of what I'm going to talk about, right? Because I'm going to just talk about, and please, I don't have slides. Yes, this session is recorded, but I expect you to write down. So please jot down. I don't have slides because it's coming as I have experienced it being on that interview and also from conversations with a recruiter. Just yesterday, that was when I was having a conversation with that recruiter, right? So I expect that you have a biro and a pen. Yeah, the session is recorded, but anything you write down by yourself, I think it sticks, or at least you type it on your notepad on your device or something. Now, when it comes to, I can say that at least almost everybody here is a product manager or maybe aspiring product manager, or you are just starting out in product management. And as we all know, if you don't know, I'm saying it, and I always say that product management is not a very easy career path. It's a leadership career path. I'm going to start from there. It's a leadership career path. It's not a career path where you are going to be, it's not a career path where you should be timid, you should be shy. Yeah, you might be shy, but you want to grow away from that shyness and that timidness, right? It's not a career path for casual, being very casual, right? The product manager career path is not a career path where you want to be very afraid. It's a career path that requires ownership. Now, one of the reasons why companies will say we are looking for somebody that has 2 years experience, 3 years experience, 5 years experience, especially for the product manager role. And I'm pretty much sure, if not everybody here, 70-80% of you have probably come across 5-year experience, 4-year experience. It's not because companies don't want to hire entry-level talent. It is because they don't see a sense of leadership with them. And that's why they prefer to go for the people that have experience, right? And I'm going to share a story. This is a real life story that just happened pretty recently, right? This guy is a graduate of Enoverlab. And I'm not trying to brag about Enoverlab, it's his own personality, right? And I'm sure that his colleagues in class will probably know him. His name is Damola Oladipo. So just to put his full name so that you know, right? Damola finished his training May, June, maybe May. Was it May? He's currently on internship right now. Now, he got a role at Code for Africa. Code for Africa is a NGO startup in Yaba, right? As a senior product manager. Now, he just started out in product management. So how come he applied for the role of a product manager? They eventually gave him the role of a senior product manager and also increased the salary. And he just started out in product management, even though he has been doing some form of product management before now, right? But he had not worked officially as a product manager, right? He had been doing product management. He had a startup. He was a co-founder of a startup, and all of that. But it was not like an official where he worked for a company. It was like his own company, more or less. And when Damola applied to Code for Africa, he applied for a product manager role. Now, during the process of the interview, myself and him were talking multiple times. And then, all the entire process he went through. and they could sense the leadership skill sets in Damola. In a nutshell, they didn't give him a product manager job. They gave him a senior product manager job, increased his proposed salary, and he has started on that job at Code for Africa as a senior PM. And this is his first official product management job. Now, I was very impressed. I was like, guy, how did you do it? But I also know Damola in class. He's a very smart person. He's, very intelligent. He has a very strong leadership skills. And that's something that I sense during the course of his training, that strong leadership skill set, right? And I presume, because I didn't go into the details with him, that they were able to sense that skill set with him, somebody that applied for a product manager job, that this is his first official product manager job, like his first official job. He had done product management via being a startup founder. He had worked with engineers. He had built something, right? But it was not like an official where he worked for a company. So this is his first job. So how come this guy, from being an ordinary PM, which was the role he applied for, to becoming a senior PM in his first job? Everything eventually comes down to leadership. Right? So I'm not going to come here to tell you all the things that you already know about hiring and what do you say during product manager interview, right? A lot of times, for the many of us, we are not portraying our leadership skill set enough. How will somebody get his first job and they give him a senior PM role? His first job, right? He's on our community group. He's not just in this session. He's on our community group, right? He's a graduate of Enoverlab. He went through the training. And his first official job is... Now, and it's not about being lucky. Because sometimes when I say it's not about being lucky. I know this guy has the leadership skill set. So now where am I going to? Product management is a leadership role. It's not a role of being casual. It's not a role of you're managing. It's not a role of I'm just doing it. It's a role that you have to put your best of your best foot forward, right? And your leadership skill set have to be seen. So how come this guy started out, he has not worked before, and he was given a senior PM role? Everything eventually comes down to his ability to portray himself with the best foot, his leadership skill set forward during the course of the interview. And instead of them giving him an ordinary product manager role, he was given a senior PM role. His salary was increased from what he even thought he was going to earn. Right? And now he has been on that job for about 2 months now. Right? That was June, July. So the first thing that I want to say to you right now is that you have to understand that the product manager role is an important role for organization. That's the first thing. Because sometimes in the course of you running up and down, product manager, and I see that with a number of persons, some of you don't still understand the weight of the role. Now, let me give you gist from Damola. The last 2 months has been crazy for him, just to show that it is not beans. So you that to whom much is expected. I mean, what's that statement? To whom, somebody should please help me.
To whom much is given, much is expected.
Exactly. To whom much is given, much is expected. I wish Damola is on this call. He should come and give you guys the gist himself. The last 2 months has been crazy. The best word to use is crazy for him. Because now he has to now be setting up structures, going back to all their products. And when we talked, they have 70 products in their pipeline. Like 70. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. 70 products in their pipeline. So, to whom much is given, much is expected. So I think that's something that a lot of you need to have at the back of your mind. You need to understand that this our job, our product manager job, is not twe-twe, it's not casual, it's big. If you see it as big and you put yourself as big, Because the responsibility is much. You are integral to the success of an organization. And if you cannot put yourself in that light to show that you are going to carry that responsibility on your shoulder, nobody is going to hire you. And there's nothing you want to say from now to tomorrow. There's no amount of certificate that you will have that will make them to hire you if you cannot show that you are capable of carrying the responsibility. So, like I said again, I'm not going to talk about the general stuff. I'm going to go to a lot of, I'll call it like soft skills stuff that, some of you don't pay attention to. Probably a lot of you don't pay attention to. Right? The last 2 months for Damola has been crazy. Crazy is the best word to use. Because the responsibility plenty. When I saw the Airtable documentation, more than 70, but he had to even streamline down to 70, like 70 products. So, again, why would they give this new guy that is first official product manager job, unofficially? Again, he has been doing product management unofficially, but his first official job, they put him on top of a product in a company or in an organization that has 70 products in their pipeline. Right? So where am I going to? You as a talent, you as a product manager, you need to understand the weight of the job. I think a lot of you don't understand the weight of the job. Our job is weighty. And I like telling people, if you have ever been in my class, in my personal class, I say product manager job is not easy. Sometimes you feel like maybe one is trying to be, but that is the real truth, because we are integral to the success of an organization. Like literally, a product manager, I used to say that it's not even me that said it. It was a statistics from, I don't know, it was from product school, where they said that a product manager can increase the value. A good product manager, I think the word was a great product manager, can increase the value of an organization by 900% over time. So the question is, can you put yourself in that space that I can increase the value of an organization by 900% over time? What's 900%? Meaning that if a company is making 1 million naira today, if you join their company within the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you should be able to take them from 1 million naira revenue to 900 million naira revenue. That's just a sample. Money is very easy to, again, it's not limited to money, but money is the quickest way for us to think about it. So I think, again, my number one point for you in terms of navigating a PM job interview is that you as a talent, you as a product manager, do you even understand the weight of the role and how important it is to organization? Because when you understand, you know that it's a leadership role. And when you fundamentally know that it's a leadership role, you might not have all the answers to the interviewer's question or the recruiter's question or the hiring manager's question. You might not have all the answer to it. But if you can show your leadership, if you can show your confidence, that alone will get you the job. I will personally hire someone that is telling me the wrong thing, but the person is confident with their wrong thing. I know that sounds somehow, than someone who knows the right thing, but the person is timid. Yes. Again, it seems like in my head, I feel like I'm doing basketballs, but that's in a real reality, that is the truth. Right? So, number one, understand the weight of the role. You need to understand the weight of the role. It's not a casual role. It's not a jege role. It's not a role for you to just come and cash out. PMs cash out, but that is when you have delivered value to an organization. Nobody is going to come and pay you 700K, 800K, 1 million naira if you are just going to come and sit down and be writing PRDs. Could it work? Just in case you don't know, I'm telling you now. Because, when we talk about blood money in tech, I read the book Blood Money in Tech, and, it's exciting to hear it, but let's be very realistic, right? Nobody is going to pay you a 7-figure salary if your impact has not given them a 9-figure earning or a 10-figure earning in a way. If they don't see that your impact is going to show, not because you are a salesperson helping them to make money in terms of like how much they make, but because your impact show and is very significant to the organization. So you yourself must understand the weight. Many times, a lot of people, when they are going through hiring process, they are always thinking about the company did not hire me, the company did not hire me, the company did not hire me. You do not talk about yourself. I've not gotten the job. I have not got. Most of the time, when you're not getting the job, it's not the companies now, it is you. And your composure, your confidence during the interviews matters a lot. Now, let me quickly say something. You have every right to be afraid during interviews. I'm not saying, even me, the last interview I was at or I was in, I was scared too. I was like, I'm all, I was that kind of vibe that, no, anyways, let's see how it goes, right? So it's normal to be afraid, but then you have to compose yourself. Like we said earlier again, to whom much is given, much is expected. And I think it's important that you understand that, because a lot of us just think that, oh, product manager, product manager. I'm going to, it's not about sitting down to write PR deal, and it's not about just doing user research. The work is hard. Yes, capital letter hard. Let us say it as it is. And I'm sure some of you joined Safe Space the other day, and I'm sure you probably had one or two things about how crazy our work is. And even beyond what people say, the work can be more crazy than what people even tell you. Right? So you want to earn a 7-figure salary, you must be ready for the work. You must understand the magnitude of the job. And that's where I'm starting from. Right? You don't blame companies. It's just as you are looking for a job, a company is looking for a talent. Has any of you sat down to think that these companies that is looking for a talent, they too, they are looking for somebody that will add value to them. Not somebody that will come and be collecting salary and be going every day. Every company is looking for someone that is going to bring value to the table. Nobody is looking for somebody that is just going to come and be collecting money from their hand. So the question is, you as a product manager that you are looking for the job, what value can you confidently say that I am bringing to this organization? That's a question that you need to ask yourself when you're applying for jobs. When you're applying for jobs, right? Ask yourself, what value am I bringing to this company? If you cannot if you cannot answer it categorically, then it means that you're not going to pass through the interview. It's not, except you are just lucky. And luck doesn't always happen. Because some of us don't think about our own parts when it comes to interviews. We're always about, the company did not hire me. They're looking for 5 years. If people start to complain about not getting jobs, everybody's always saying that companies don't know what they are doing. Companies are saying 5-year experience. They're looking for people of 5-year experience. Everybody's always complaining about the company, and nobody talks about it, because the company is also just looking for their best talent. It's a no-brainer. Well, sometimes maybe we don't think about it. The company is just looking for their best talents. If I have 700K to pay a product manager, I'm not going to hire you because you've gone through Enoverlab training, even if I'm the one going to hire you. I will not hire you because of that. I will hire you because I can see in your demeanor, in your composure, in your confidence that if I pay you 700K for the next 1 year, you would help my company generate 70 million within that next 1 year. Again, I'm using money because money is very easy to calculate. So if I'm going to pay you 7 million over the course of a year, then I'm expecting that at least 90% of what I pay you, the impact that you bring to the organization, will be worth 70 million, for example. And I'm just trying to let you guys see it from the perspective of an organization. So if a company says they are going to pay you 150K, it means that that is the value that they see that you can bring to the table. Especially if it's an established company. So let's use the word keyword established. If it's a startup, obviously, you're not expecting the startup to pay you 500K now. Calm down. And when I mean startup, I mean like early stage startup, right? early stage to be precise. They don't have money. So these are also some dynamics that you have to understand, right? They don't have plenty money, so you have to collect whatever they have at that point in time. But in a nutshell, you need to understand the weight of the job. It's crazy hard work, right? Crazy hard work. For some of us that work remotely, we don't have opening hour, we don't have closing hour. I was talking with a friend of mine, Mark, just yesterday. He said he was at the hospital, like because of stress on top of this our work. Like stress, like freaking stress. But yeah, when salary come now, we're all going to smile, we're all going to, at least we are balling. But then the stress parts, nobody remembers that stress part is part of the job, right? Or some newbies coming into the job don't take that part. No, that part is part of the job because there's a weight of the job, right? That people don't talk a lot about. So you have to understand that weight, right? And then you also have to be able to put yourself and say, I can carry that weight. And if you cannot carry that weight, then you need to start to train yourself to carry that weight. It's not about writing PRD. It's not about doing user research. It's not about doing market research. It's about adding value to an organization. And when it comes to value, the value again is I always see it as I always like to look at value from the context of money because money is just easy to calculate. If a company wants to pay you 700K every month, 8.4 million in a year, then it means that you are bringing back to them a value worth maybe 80 million naira in that same year. Not because you help them to make the money, but the value of what you have brought to the organization should be worth that amount. And so you can ask for a salary increase and say, oh, in this job, I know I have been impactful to the point where I know that what I do as a product manager impacts the organization revenue to this point, and I am worthy of collecting a higher salary. Not just because you want to collect it because you think that is what the market needs. Don't be like Nigeria. Did anybody see the gist that they say Nigeria unemployment rate has dropped 33%? Did anybody see that gist on the news? Dropped 33% in 2 months, I'll be 3 months. Anybody? Nobody. People don't watch news. Ha. When
Yeah,
I
I
say
saw it, Banji.
I say wahala from where we dropped 33%. They don't be like Nigeria that just come and change statistics, right? So that's the first thing, and I hope that I communicated that clearly. Understand the weight of the job and pull yourself that you can be sure. You don't need to be 100% sure so that I don't sound like trying to force you. But you want to be sure to a certain level that if I enter this company, this is what I will add to this organization. If you cannot tell yourself that categorically for any application, then there's no point applying. I doubt you're only going to get that job out of luck. Now, people get jobs with luck. Again, let's be very realistic. But luck will not work for the most persons. Let's also be realistic as well. Somebody might be very lucky, the other person may not be very lucky. Right? So understand the weight of the job. Be sure that you can carry the weight of the job as well, because the job is freaking hard. And the job is high responsibility, which is the reasons why companies always ask for 4 years experience, 5 years experience, 6, because they don't want to collect somebody that will not be dragging the job, being casual, and thinking that it's all about writing PRD and managing developers. It passed that one. No. That is the process of doing product management. What matters to any organization is your results. Right? If you like, say, I work 24 hours a day. If you do not see your result at the end of the day, all your 24 hours a day is just you go explain tire. Like Burna Boy said. You go explain tire if you say, I work 24 hours a day. If you cannot see your result in a tangible sense, you go just explain tire. Just explain. So carry the weight of the job, right? Understand that it's beyond just coming to write PRDs, do user research. Can you categorically? Now, let me go forward. In helping you to know that you can deliver value to an organization, I was still in a session last night and I was telling them that Before you apply for a job, and you know me, for some of you that have been in our community for a long time, I have said it numerous times. If you can watch that video on YouTube where I talk about creating a product manager CV, I have said it that you don't create one CV and be sending one CV to 20 companies. Instead, you create 20 different CV that is personalized to the 20 different companies that you're applying to. You don't send one CV and send it to 100 companies. You want to take the time and the hard work so that you understand where you're even going into. And you can be able to ask yourself, what value? So, for example, now, say I see an opening at MTN Nigeria, see another opening at Glow, see another opening at Health Tracker, see another opening at Kuda Bank. If I want to apply to these 4 companies, I will not send the same one CV to 4 of them. I will sit down with MTN Nigeria and say, okay, what's MTN Nigeria doing? What team are they going to potentially put me into? What new products are they working on? What's the MTN app? I'll do my tear down. I'll understand what the company is getting themselves into. And then I'll also look at, do a research on MTN as an organization. If they give, say, let's say MTN puts me into the CCTV product that they just launched in recent time, I'll go and probably maybe even buy the product myself or go and look for a review on YouTube and understand what's it and what's not, and try to find some user feedback and understand the product so that I know that as I'm going into the interview, I'm not just going there to be talking what is product metrics and what is prioritization. I'm going there with a knowledge of what they have built. And I'm going to go with that interview with a flow in mind that, oh, I know the product, I know the CCTV product, I know how MTN has integrated with iSight app. I know that, oh, you can view, a user can use the iSight app, stream with their CCTV camera at home and be watching their home feed from their mobile devices. I know all of these things. And then I'll also be looking at what are the challenges that they might typically have on the product, both the CCTV and the iSight app, and what are the challenges that they might typically have, so that I'm coming into that interview with something regarding their product. Some of you go into interviews and you don't even have a question to ask the organization. Again, if you've had one-on-one conversations with me, I would have probably told you that you don't go into an interview without having 2, 3 questions to ask them. And those 2, 3 questions should be intelligent, based out of your research about the company in the first place. So I want to apply to Kuda Bank, MTN, Glow, and maybe Health Tracker. I'm going to sit down with each company, understand each company goals, do a tear down on their product, go to their Play Store, Apple Store, Google Play Store, look at the reviews, look at what people are complaining about, go to their websites, go to their social media, find complaints, find challenges that people have, and then I'll start to think about 1 or 2 things that I can do better when I enter into the organization. Now, when I get into the interviews, I'm going armed with information. That's how to be a leader. You're not expecting them to give you job. You are creating the job for yourself. You're not expecting them to hand over the job to you and say, oh, collect. It's not going to work that way. That's how to be a leader. You take responsibility. So I will sit down, I'll research MTN, get all the information, find the challenges that people are complaining on in the app store, on their social media, have something that I can go into the interview about. Do the same with Kuda Bank, do the same with Glow, do the same with Health Tracker, right? Now, if I'm going into the interview, I'm going into the interview with information. I'm not just going into the interview with what is metrics, what is prioritization, how do you do user research. I'm not going to the interview with those things. I'm going into the interview with information about their products, information about the customer challenges that they have, information about challenges that they have with the products, what people complain about on the App Store reviews. I am going with this information in mind. That's how you take responsibility. That's how you show that you are a leader. You can handle the responsibility of the job. Right? You're not going there with what is metrics or what is prioritized. You're going there with information. Now, quick disclaimer, it doesn't still mean that they're going to give you the job. So this is not a guarantee. When somebody say, oh, Banji said if I do this, then I'm going to get a job. Nah, it's not still a guarantee. I have done that many times and they did not still give me the job. So there are still other things that will happen. But however, what this would do is that it increases your chances very high. It's not 100% guarantee, but you have a very high guarantees than if you just sit down and you're waiting for them to ask you what is prioritization, what is Moscow, what is Kano model. Nah, could it work? Can't work that way. Nobody will hire you because you know the theory, right? People are going to hire you because they see that you have something of value to bring. How do you have something of value to bring to the table? You have done your research on the company, you know their challenges, you know their products, you know what customers are complaining about on the App Store, you know their vision, you see where they are trying to get to, and then you arm yourself with this information going into the interview. And that way you can direct conversations to go your way. Instead of them asking you plenty of questions, you will be the one asking questions, right? So I want to give one more example, right? Just to make this clear, right? You want to apply for a job. Let's even assume it's not a big company. Say it's one startup somewhere inside Lekki, for example. Nobody knows the company anywhere. They've probably not even built anything. And then you applied for the job and your CV passed the first stage of the interview. Again, CV is another conversation on its own, right? That's another conversation, but we are talking about navigating the interview. You have passed through that stage of CV, right? Now, this is a startup somewhere in Lekki. Nobody knows the company. Even you are just hearing about the company for the first time. Your CV has passed that first stage. Now you have been scheduled for an interview. What are you supposed to do ahead of that interview? Go and study about the company. Any information that you have, go to their website. If they don't have a website, go and read about the founders. Go to their LinkedIn. Go and check who the founder is, what he has done in the past, what he has talked about the product about. Try and read about the founders. Try and find anybody that is a team member within that organization. Just get information about the person and the people, right? Because that lays a foundation for you to understand at least what they want to build, right? Understand the person, the founder, if they have not built anything at all, right? And when you're going into such kind of interviews, a startup, you don't know the company, you just randomly come across it on LinkedIn. Go and talk. When you're going into that kind of interview, you're going there, by the time they start to ask you, tell us about yourself. Again, that tell us about yourself question is so you can literally make or mar the entire interview with how you answer the tell us about yourself question. Again, maybe Blessing, just help me note that down. We'll probably talk about it in one of the series. How do you answer the tell us about yourself question? Because most of the time, that's the first question they ask during interviews, many of the times, right? Or they ask you product thinking questions. Tell us a product that you use. How did you use it? What problem did you experience? Something. Typically tell us about yourself, or a product thinking question to see your product mindset and all of that. So typically, right? Blessing, just help me write that down so that I will add that to some of the things we're going to talk about during the course of the series, right? So you are going into that kind of a startup. Nobody knows the company. You don't know the company. It's your first time. Go and research the founder, the co-founder, all the people that you know within that company, within that startup. Get all the information about them. And then now go and look at what they are trying to build, right? Most likely they will also say, we are trying to build blah, 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 blah. And then now you go and do your own quick research. What problem are they trying to solve? Who are they trying to solve it for, right? You want to have an idea, right? How would they, again, I always like to use the product thinking framework, right? The problem statement, the target user, their vision, their business objectives, then what they want to build, and then their strategy. Just go and do your research around these 6 things, right? So that you have information when you get into the interview, after they've asked, tell us about yourself, tell us a product that you use today, all those questions, they'll typically probably ask you questions around prioritization. Again, we'll talk about how do you answer some of these popular questions that is asked during the interview. But I want to really focus on your composure, right? Your ability to manage the situation, which is much more important than even what you say. Like one of my mentors used to say, it's not about what you say, it's about how you say what you say that really matters the most when it comes to communication. It's not about what you say. That's why I said earlier that somebody will say the wrong thing, but he says the wrong thing so confidently with passion and confidence. They will buy into that person over the person that is saying the right thing, but the person is timid, the person is shy, the person is trying to, I don't know if they will give me the job. Already, you're not showing that you're a product manager. A product manager should, yes, it's not bad being afraid. I've said it before. You can be afraid, you can be fearful, but you still go, you run it like that, like you will say, like we'll say in pidgin, we go run them. Anyhow, we go run them. That's the kind of mindset you're supposed to have. Anyhow, we go run them, right? Because yes, you are a product manager, you are a leader, and you're supposed to run it anyhow. You go share rough farms to the point where you rough farm till you make them, that kind of a thing. So you're going into that interview, you should be going there with all this information about the company, the people. And let's say it's not a popular start, or it's not a popular company, nobody knows the company anyway. So that when you get to the point where they now say, Banji, do you have any question for us? Omo, that is where you are meant to shine. You are meant to shine your shine very well. That question, a lot of people don't. I find that a lot of people misuse it. Some people say, I don't have any question. Oh, are you good? Oh, I'm good. That's when you are supposed to show that you are here to come and control. I remember Matthew was sharing a scenario. Matthew is on this call now. I saw Matthew earlier. Is Matthew still here? Matthew, are you here? Okay, maybe Matthew dropped off. Right. So I remember Matthew sharing some things with me, whether last year or 2020. Yeah, I think it was last year, where he applied to a role to a company in Abuja. And then by the time he started to ask them questions, because it was a startup, they said they now fear to hire Matthew. Then I became afraid because I feel like, guy, your question is too much. Calm down, right? But in asking those questions, what now happened is that he now discovered that they don't even have the capacity to pay him for the job. And so he didn't take the job. So you also have to understand that as you are looking for a job, all these companies too are looking for talent. So it's not, you don't put yourself in a place where you are overly afraid whether they will hire you. Just as the way you are looking for the job is the way they are looking for somebody that is good. So you need to take yourself from, again, you can be afraid, you can be fearful and all of that, but still you want to carry that mindset of we go run them. Anything will won't happen, we go run them. We'll find our way around it. That's the kind of mindset that you want to carry into interviews. Not, I don't know if they'll give me the job, because let me go and do it. I'm praying. All those, I'm praying, I'm hoping, I'm wishing. It's a very, those composure matter. And it goes back to, again, like I said earlier, it's not about what you say during interview that matters. It's about how you say what you say. The confidence in how you say what you say, your composure in how you say what you say, all of these things matter. And the only way you can be composed, you can be confident, is if you have information about them that they don't have. If you read the okay, let me start going into books. But inside a book that I read, 48 Laws of Power, right? How you can posture that you have power over another person is that you have information about them that they don't know that they need. Again, don't let me start to go philosophical, because you now start to sound like aspire to perspire, but that's just the truth, right? So I think I'm going to end today's conversation on composure so that I don't bombard you guys with a lot of things. Again, like I said earlier, it's going to be a series for the next 3 to 4 Saturdays. And like I said earlier, I'm going to be bringing an international recruiter to these sessions where we're going to have maybe a, back and forth question and answer, talking about how, people should manage interview scenarios, especially if you're looking for an international job. You can't. Somebody was doing an interview and he did not prepare that NEPA can take light. In this Nigeria, you are doing an international job interview and you do not plan that. What if NEPA take light? Because if NEPA take light, just forget it. You're on your own. No, I'm sorry is going to help you. It's as simple as those things. And that is also being leadership mindset. You are thinking ahead of time that, say Nigeria matter, smooth like that. I want to do a job with a company in Canada and you are here in your house in Nigeria. You want to get a job with a company in Canada. You do not plan that my network must be smooth. They must not carry lights. So it means that you should own your own generator, or you have a solar power or something, or you know that you're not going to even need the NEPA light at all, whether they bring it or they take it. All your I am sorry is not going to get them to change their mind. Most of the time, that was what this guy was talking about yesterday. He said Simple things like not planning that, oh, NEPA can take light. You can't be saying, the power has just gone in my house. Who cares? Right? Look, as small as those things sound, it's about thoughtfulness that you don't even prepare. So a NEPA can take light. Why didn't you have a backup power source? That's what somebody else will tell you. Why didn't you have a backup power source? That's composure. All those things comes down to composure, right? International interview, you are settled, you are seated, you have your camera on, your face is clear, right? Everywhere is silent. You have tell everybody in your house, mind yourself, oh, Emma Pariwo, like we say in Yoruba. If you know your house is noisy, go to a co-working space and do your interview, collect a private office. If it's important to you, you will do that. Collect a private office in a co-working space. If that job, you want to get a $3,000, $4,000 job, and you want to be doing your interview in your house where children are playing in the background, like how? You say reason it now. Who is going to give you a $3,000, $4,000 job with children playing at the background? It's not going to work. No, I'm sorry, and it's my kids or it's my sisters that are playing. Who cares about your sisters that are playing? Yourself, put yourself in the shoes of the organization. I'm giving some of you bad bros because some of you really need these things. Go to a co-working space. Co-working space is 3K, 4K. Collect a workstation. Do your interview with peace of mind. Everywhere is silent. And don't go to any co-working space that have crowd. Go to one that don't have crowd. Right? Do your interview with peace. And when you're done with your interview, if they give you the job, and if they don't give you the job, you're not going to go and start to do mental health and start to, please, this life, you're not going to get every job that you apply for. And I want to believe that everybody already knows that. So don't go and start saying you're having depression because they did not give you a job. Why? That's also part of leadership skills, right? That's also part of leadership skills. So because you apply to 10 companies now and then the 10 companies not give you a job, you start to enter into depression. Now, why? All of us, everybody face rejection. Ask anybody. Even me at this level, I see they collect, they see they serve me breakfast. Sure thing. Right? So not now talk of, pay you are just starting and then you have done 10 interviews. I spoke to Obasi the other day. Obasi on this call. I say, Obasi, how many companies have you applied to? She said, she has not been getting good feedback. Kiniko. I said, how many companies have you applied to? She said 7. You need to see I just said, are you serious? Only 7 companies. You have not even started. You have not started the journey. Some of you are not applying enough, right? And then some of you think that you're applying a lot, but you're not even started anything. You have applied only 7 companies in 2 months. You think you're applying. That's you can't be doing those things. That's a sign of how much composure, how much confidence that you need to carry going into interviews, even when they serve you breakfast. And for you that are looking for international job, be ready for 5, 6, 7 stage of interview process. Now, you say you're looking for a remote job. You want to collect $3,000, $4,000. You're not ready to go through 5, 6, 7 stage of interview process. You think foreign companies will just hire you and give you $4,000 on a platter of gold because you say you learned from Enoverlab and Banji was your instructor, and you have, and you have, let me say something that is very funny, and you say, oh, I have, I went to my training at Enoverlab. My instructor is Banji. Enoverlab is accredited by American Council of Training and Development. That's not what is going to give you the job. That is just added advantage. Let me also just throw that bullet, right? That is not what is going to give you the job. It's just added advantage where, they say, you went to this training school, you have a certificate that's accredited by this council. Amazing. It's added advantage. You must be good first before they now look at that one. If you are not good, they'll look at the person that does not have American Council of Training and Development accreditation and give the person job over you that have it, because that person is good and the person is able to table on the ground that they are good, more than you that you say that, I collect my certificate is ACTD recognized. Truth that nobody really cares about your ACTD recognized until you are good. I'm going to wrap up here and then we'll continue next week, right? I'm going to wrap up here. Please just also hold on with your question. I think I saw Finny and Abby right? Just hold on with your question. If you have any questions, just you can write it down. I'm going to wrap up here so we can go into those questions. During this session, I had a session on tech law with Fisayo. That's Fisayo Fosudo, probably 2 weeks ago or so, thereabouts. And I remember saying something. I think I want to repeat it here because I think it's something that everybody needs to know, right? Just in case you don't know. But I'm sure you guys probably already know it. But maybe again, you've not heard it maybe very often. You need to be very good if you want to. You need to be very good. And it's not about I'm just starting. You people that used to say, I'm just starting, I'm an entry level. You're using that thing to, you're block. Don't let me say you're blocking your blessing. I remember telling Juliana, I said when you're going to this conference, don't go and start saying, I'm an entry level PM, I'm an aspiring PM. Go there and say, I am a product manager. And say with your full chest. And when she brought feedback back to me, she said, this is how people reply to her. Because she didn't go there. When you can start saying, I'm an aspiring, even your energy weighs down. You start saying, I'm aspiring. I'm not saying because you're not aspiring, especially if you are still learning, right? But for you that have learned something, you have some background information about product management. Especially if you've started, you've gone through a training, you've completed the training. You cannot be calling yourself aspiring anymore. You cannot even be calling yourself entry level. You're already a product manager. Even you that are going through training right now, you are already a product. You should call your product manager with your full chest. If you yourself cannot even call that I am a product manager with my full chest, like with all confidence, 120%, how do you expect somebody to hire you into the product manager role? You self reason it. You're not confident of calling yourself a product manager and you expect somebody to hire you into the product. You self reason it now. Your confidence should show, right? Your confidence should show. You should be able to say, I am a product manager with my full chest. And because I understand your company, I understand what you guys are doing, I understand your product, I understand the value you guys are bringing to the table. This is what I am going to contribute as a product manager to your organization. And I want to collect 400K as a salary. You will say with your full chest, you'll not be afraid to call the money. You know, go mistake drop. You go say I'm full chest. That is what I want to collect, and I want to work remotely. Again, I'm not saying you're going to be commanding. No, obviously there's wisdom in this thing, right? What I'm trying to say is that your confidence would show, and nobody will reject you of the job. And I'll wrap up with this again, going back to Damola's scenario, right? Damola applied for the role of a product manager at Code for Africa, but was able to position himself well, and he was given a senior product manager role instead of a product manager role. And this is his first official product management job. So first job, and he started out as a senior PM. It's not by what is metrics, it's not by what is prioritization, it's not by writing PRD. It comes down to confidence. And it comes down to composure, confidence, demeanor, ability to put your best foot out there forward. Without further ado, like Fisayo will say, we'll continue this session next week. Question. Blessing.
Amazing. So much, Banji. I mean, this is super. Everybody don't collect. That's boost. But yes, thank you so much, Banji, for this amazing session. We have hands up. Before the session even ends, like this is the vibe I like. But yes, we have hands up. We have Abby, Bisola, and Juliana. So Abby is going to go first. Abby, please do well to unmute and ask your question.
Thank you very much for organizing this wonderful session. Thank you also, Banji, for doing justice to the topic. So I don't want to ask too much questions. I'm just going to ask just two questions. The first question is, I think whilst I agree that this is all about interview and acing interview and scaling interview, we also need to talk about people who are not even getting invited for interview at all. It's really, really very important. Is it not when you get to the interview? I'm coming, sorry. Is it not when you get to the interview that you now, do whatever you are going to do in such a way that they know that, okay, you have these skills? For most of us who are transitioning, into product management. Yes, we have the transferable skills, but at the same time, when we apply, the response is not very encouraging. And I'm speaking from experience. That's number one. Number two, so this session is basically all about, PM role and demonstrating, some level of confidence in such a way that they know that, okay, this person has it. But for someone who has been invited for a role, for instance, but you're going for a junior product manager role, right? Yes, there's an element of leadership that you should have, but for that interview, what, in your opinion, would you say that particular person should focus on, at the interview to convince the panel? Those are the two questions. Thank you, and God bless.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that question. I think it was a good question. So we're going to talk about independently. We're going to talk about, I don't want to do that session alone. So like I said again, it's going to be like a series. So it's not going to be a one-off session that we're going to just have today. It's going to be a series for the next 3 to 4 Saturdays. I'm looking at 4 Saturdays, right? So like I said, we're going to bring an international recruiter that is based in Europe. He hires tech talents from Nigeria to Europe. I think according to him yesterday, he said he has hired about 5 talents that were brought from Nigeria to Germany, to Europe, to be more precise, from software developers to UI UX designers. So I'm going to bring him on board from a recruiter standpoint, because again, me, I'm talking from a product manager standpoint. I think it's good that we have from a recruiter standpoint, what are the key things that you need to highlight to help, again, your CV stand out, at least even cross that CV stage. But I'll just chip in one thing, however, right? CVs, I was still talking to a group of PMs last night about CVs, and everything eventually comes down to even your posture in your CV as well, right? Again, that CV conversation in itself can be broad, but let me just highlight maybe 2 things when it comes to CVs, right? You want to show your results in your CV a lot, right? Even if the result is not a product management result, you want to show your results in your CV, even if it's not a product management result. Results sells you better because results show what you have done, even if it's not a product management experience, right? Results show what you have done, even if it's not a product management experience. Damola scenario most likely is a result-oriented thing. Ibukun, was anybody on this session where we brought 3 product managers, Ibukun, Tomilayo, Lanre, to a session where we asked them how did they get their first product manager job? If anybody remember Ibukun said that all she did, right, to get a job, she now currently works as a junior PM at eTransact. All the things that she did were all side projects, right? And she was able to table the result of those side projects. She too didn't work she didn't have any official product manager job until the one she got at eTransact in January earlier this year, right? Again, it was just projects, from a project that she worked on to another project that she worked on, then to a volunteer project. It was just a mix of projects that she used to get the job. Now, what do those projects shows? I presume that those projects showed to the hiring people or to the recruiters that this person had some form of experience that was tangible, right? Tangible experience. The person has shown that they can do stuff. So if on your CV, you are not showing that you can do stuff, right? High tendency that nobody's going to listen to you. So you have to show your results, even if it's not a official product management result. You have to find a way to show your results on your CV, how what you've done in your other role that is not product manager role has impacted an organization, right? Because that way they can see that, okay, this person has done something for this company, even though it's not a product manager role, but at least as a customer success, he was able to resolve a customer issue, blah, blah, blah. As a cybersecurity professional, he was able to prevent the company from losing 10 million naira because of his work. Those are tangible results. So that's one. What else? Tailor your CV to suit the JD. That's 2. Again, I'm sure you guys have probably heard that thing before. Tailor your CV to suit the JD. And I've said it this evening already. Don't send one CV to 20 companies. Send 20 tailored CV to 20 companies, not one CV to 20 companies. I've said this thing since 2 years ago. It's on that session on Enoverlab YouTube. tailor your CV to suit the JD. Those are two major advice when it comes to CV. Put your result on your CV. Let your result show a lot on your CV, even if it's not a product management result. Tailor your CV to suit the job description of the organization that you're applying to. Let me end there. Your second question was, what was the second question?
For a junior product manager, what should one focus on to convince the panel?
Junior PM role, I still think the same thing applies. I don't think there's anything. When I say junior PM, it just means that they're looking for someone like a support to the main product manager, right? For any organization that is looking for a junior PM, so more like a support. So the same thing that is needed by a product manager will be needed for a junior PM. It's just that they will not put you in a high responsibility space, right? They want to see how you're able to work with people, manage stakeholders, do documentations, right? Those are like junior level things. They'll probably not ask you questions around maybe high level prioritization, product strategy. They'll probably not go that route, right? But it's still product management conversation. However, things like documentation, working with people, managing stakeholders, writing PRDs, managing project with engineers. Typically, like the more basic part of doing product management or the ground level part of doing product management, typically.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you for that one. We have Abisola. Hi, Abisola. Please do well to unmute. Let's have your question.
Hi, Blessing. Good evening.
Good evening once again.
Thank you, Mr. Banji, for this awesome section. Yeah, this one of these blues actually hits me very well. I've been using one CV, though I was able to scale to get one invite and another one, my CV crossover to the next stage. So I think I will have to do the needful next time. So my question now is, this one you said we should be specific on each CV we sent out. What about the company? We should tailor the CV to the company need and to their pain point. What about the company that brought out an advert that they didn't even, okay, this one is from an outsource. They just brought an advert that they need a product manager. The name of the company was not disclosed. You didn't even know the company. You just saw the advert. Product manager is needed. So how do we navigate this one?
Good question. Thank you, Paul. How do you navigate a job that you don't know the information? Truth is that there's no way to navigate. I can't think of anything in my head right now. Right? If they did not put the name of the company, you don't have any information about the company, so you don't even know what to look for. I personally think that those kind of jobs are they are genge jobs. They are not. I wouldn't consider them like a solid job personally. Right? Any solid job, right? Even if it's a startup, they should hold their chest and say, "Oh, we're looking for a product manager. We only have 100K to pay the product manager." They should own it with their full chest, right? And you know the company, and you know what you're getting into. So I would say that I'm not sure there's any way from the top of my head to navigate when you don't know the company, so you don't even know what you're getting yourself into. You are left in a fix of what's the company, what are they about. Those kind of jobs, again, just my own opinion. It might be good, but I think any solid company should be able to say, we are the one hiring for this role. Just open up and say it as it is. And then even if they don't want to pay big money, they should also say it straight away and let people know. Any job that they are not very explicit, I think that they are not, I don't see them as pretty solid. And if you are not desperate, I'll personally say you don't apply. Apply to a company that you have all their information, you can read about them, you can check about them. Even if they've not built anything, at least you can know the founder, know the CEO, know the co-founder. Go and read about them on LinkedIn. Have some information about them. It gives you a sense. Because even you, as a talent, don't forget that as they are trying to hire you, you are also trying to hire them. Because a lot of us also, you have to move from that point of trying to get a job to trying to find a fit with a company that is going to match you. I know sometimes this thing might sound like it's for people that have experience. I don't think it's only for people that have experience. Because for some of us that have experience now, most of the time we will not just get into a job. We are going to be very selective. But it's not because of experience primarily. It is because of the value that we know that we can bring into the organization. But people think that it's because you have 5 years experience. It's because you have 6 years experience. It's because you have 7 years. It's not majorly because it's because we know that if I enter into your company, this is what you are going to get from me. So I know the value that I am bringing to the table. Do you get? So I think that any company like that, I don't really rep them. Let me use that word personally. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But if you cannot know the company, you don't know the name, you don't know the CEO, you don't know anything about them, then no more, no more. You're just left on his coming here. Do you get? So you're just playing the game of you're playing. I can see it as playing tete. Open that playing, what do we call tete now? You're betting, open that you chop or chop. That's that kind of thing. When you know the company, you know the CEO, you know the founders, you know all the information is online, on LinkedIn, on Google. Now it's easy for you to tailor the value that you want to carry to them and know how to approach their CV, even as a new product manager. So that's for your answer, Paul. Blessing.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I was trying to get some stuff. Okay, thank you so much, Ranji, for that. Juliana, please go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Okay, so this is my question. I had this experience whereby I did not reach out to this company. No, I was just on my own, and they came to my DM, my LinkedIn, and were telling me that I should come and apply for internship. Okay, fine, I applied, and we got to the assessment stage, only for them to start asking me questions like chemistry, biology, mathematics, English, and it's not even like tough questions that has to do with chemistry, biology, mathematics. They don't even know if I was a science student in school or arts, commercial, and it's for a product management internship. Like honestly, like I was confused. After doing it, I think the cut-off mark was 50. I had 48. I failed, but I could not scale through. Like, so what do you have to say to that? Because one of my friends who also applied for an internship last week, and when he went to the assessment stage, it was the same thing. It was telling me that they were asking him questions like chemistry, mathematics, but like questions that's not even related to PM at all. Like to me, I feel like it does not make sense. Like, what do you think about that?
You know what come to my head or what came to my head? Wahala, 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 wahala. Oh God. Because I think that situation is very similar to Paul's situation. Again, there are some companies that don't know what they're looking for. Typically, it's always all these startups or somebody just wake up in the morning and say he wants to build a tech product. Again, all those kind of organization, you don't want to, you don't. I think it was Mark that was saying it this morning in the technical product management program when I joined their class in the morning, talking about if a company doesn't have a certain type of budget, it just put them in one corner, right? Not because it's trying to be proud, but because you just know that they are not ready to work. So it's a perfect example, very similar to Paul's scenario. All those companies, you don't want to rep them too much. Any company that is serious, even if they cannot afford to pay big money, they will have something, a landing page. You know the founder, you have informations. And when they have a landing page, they will have something, no matter how little, right? Even if they don't have plenty money to pay, but at least they should have something. And then there's a way they will approach things, right? Typically, they will call someone that is more experienced to come and interview for them and things like that, right? So companies like that, they're asking you chemistry, biology inside a product manager interview. They're not solid, right? You don't want to rep them. Just know that it's just one of those things. You probably experience everybody, no, maybe not everybody. A number of people will probably experience, dealing with such kind of organizations. Is a proper organization will have, even if their system is not structured, They will shall have a process of hiring people. They might not know everything. They might not know everything. They might not follow maybe a structured HR process because it's a startup. They're just trying to build out, but at least they will do you a proper interview. They themselves will probably go and do research online to find out how do you interview a product manager. At least that's them putting an effort. It means that they are serious. It means that they are, let me use the word quote and unquote, they are sensible in a nutshell. I'm not saying they are bad. I'm not saying all of them are bad, but ideally, if you're a proper company, you should do your own research. Even if you don't have an HR manager, you should have. Well, if I'm a CEO of a startup now and I want to build a new company, I don't have HR manager. At least I will go and do my research and go on Google and say, Google, how do I hire a product manager? At all, they shall ask Google. So if you are entering into an interview process and they are asking you random questions that are off point, just know that they themselves they are not even serious. Because Google is there to ask, how do you, even if you are a startup founder, you are just starting out your company, you will go to Google and ask, what are the criteria to hire a product manager? What should I be looking for? Google will give answer. Now there's Chat GPT. You go to Chat GPT. So if the company you are going to don't even have information about how to hire a product manager that you can even see on Google, you should not rep them as a talent. You must not get every job. You don't have to enter into every company. You can decline a job. I have declined a job before, and it's not because of experience or pride. It's because I know that they cannot, just like Mark was saying this morning, they cannot, there's no point entering that lane. Just let them carry their job and give to somebody else. You can. You need to get yourself to that point where you're confident enough to say, nah, this is not ideal. If I work here, they will just stress my life. They will not be doing the right thing. They will just finish me. So go to a place where you know that, okay, at least it might not be straightforward. A lot of startups are not straightforward, but at least there's a form of structure that you can sort of improve upon as you work there, not somewhere that they don't even know what they are doing from day one. So that's that for that.
Thank you so much, Banji. Sorry guys. Trying to just get some stuff done. I'm a bit swamped. But yes, thank you so much, Banji, for this amazing session. Do we have other questions, guys? Do we have other questions? Okay. Paul, please go ahead. Habisola Paul, please go ahead.
Oh, blessing. Thank you. I'm sorry. This question just keep coming to my mind. I've been seeing a lot of product marketing manager vacant position outside. So, as a newbie or someone who just started out as a product manager, is it advisable to apply for that same role, product marketing manager?
Mm, mm. Okay. Banji, I think you should take this question. Is Banji still there?
Yeah. Um, so it depends, right? If you have a marketing background, if you see a PMM role, that's product marketing manager, role, I think you should apply. If you don't have a marketing background or customer success background, those two, if you have marketing, customer success, or sales background, you can apply for a product marketing manager role. There are some cross-functional skills that is relatable for product marketing management, right? So if you have marketing, customer success, or sales background, then why not apply for a product marketing manager role and make sure you tailor your CV to suit that role, like I've said. So you're not going to send a product manager CV for a product marketing manager role. It means that you have to change your title from product manager to product marketing manager, and then you now tailor your CV in the context of that JD. Look at your experience either in marketing or in sales or in customer success and relate it to the JD and tailor the CV to match. So yes, you can apply if you have those backgrounds. Sales, marketing, customer success. They are a very good background to apply for product marketing manager opportunities.
Okay. Thank you so much, Banji. Okay, we'll just take one more question. That's from Imelda. Then we'll call it a day because this is a series and it's going to be going on for as long as um for a few weeks, just as Badger said. But yes, guys, before we take Imelda's question, please let's go to our social media. Let's go ahead to write or of course tell people the things that the insights that we have learned, mistakes that we have we have all seen that is funded out here, right? And like I always say, we have been watered, right? So it is important that we go ahead to water other people too with the knowledge that we have gotten here, right? And yes, so you can just tag us at Enoverlab on Twitter, Enoverlab NG on Instagram, and Enoverlab on LinkedIn, right? So just tag us and we would repost your feedbacks. Your feedbacks are really important to us. I mean, as product managers, it is important that we always get feedback. So yes, just as feedback is important in product management, this feedback is also important. So it's nice if you would do that and tag us as well while doing that. That being said, let's have Imelda. Hi, Imelda.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for the session. It was really insightful, Banji. But I just wanted to ask, as a product manager that is starting out and you're looking to, going on Upwork to freelance and everything. So I tried to do that yesterday, and then we were asked to your hourly rate and all of that. So what would you advise so that you are not underpricing yourself and at the same time you're not overpricing yourself? So what would you advise someone that is looking towards going through that route? Thank you.
Okay, very good question. Freelancing. That's one part that people don't talk a lot about. Some of you might need to start from like freelancing, volunteer, just to get your foot through the door. Now there's no is there a one way around it? I wouldn't say maybe there's a direct approach. I think what you might want to do is to on that same Upwork or Fiverr, sort of look at what other product managers are charging. I think that's the best way to go about it. Right? Look at what other people are charging and then try to look at their years of experience. I think on Fiverr and Upwork, they always put in, oh, this person has 1 year experience, or there's a way they always do it, either in terms of experience or in terms of the maybe the work or the jobs that they've done. So look at people that are very similar to you and look at how much they are charging, right? I think that's going to be like the easiest way to work around it because it's like doing competitive analysis because every other person on that Fiverr or Upwork, they're also looking for the same freelance opportunity you're looking for. So you want to look at what everybody is charging and what everybody is doing, but like you're doing a competitive analysis and then sort of find a balance and say, okay, people are charging $6 per hour. I would charge $5 per hour. The average person is charging $10 per hour. I would charge $9 per hour, something like that. So I think it comes down to what is happening within the platform, what is currently existing within the platform, and how people are charging. And then specifically look for people that are within your own level. So don't go and be charging what someone that is 5 years, 7 years, 10 years experience is charging. Obviously, right? Your level is between 1 to 3 years of experience. So look at people between 1 to 3 years of experience and then charge with that. So if average person is charging $10 per hour, then you should be charging maybe $9 per hour or $8 per hour just to sort of give yourself a leverage into it. So it doesn't mean that you must be cheap every single time. Let me quickly chip that in, right? Being the cheapest in the market is not necessarily a strategy. I used to say this in product strategy class. Making your product the cheapest is not necessarily a strategy by itself. So putting yourself as the cheapest on Fiverr or Upwork is not good. It's not a strategy by itself. There must be other things that should match your strategy to make it successful. So yeah, look at what other people are doing and then price yourself accordingly based up of the analysis of what's happening generally on the platform.
Okay, thank you very much, Banji, for that one. On this note, we would be saying thank you for this session, Banji. And yes,